Jackson back with you at Song Mentor. And today's relaxed selection is one of the greatest songs ever written, John Lennon's Imagine. The song began in 1971 at his home studio. It was released on the Imagine LP and was produced by himself, Yoko Ono, and Phil Spector. John didn't give Yoko much writing credit at the time, claiming he was a bit more macho and selfish in those days, but looking back on it, most of the inspiration from Imagine came from a 1964 book she wrote called Grapefruit. This song is on just about every list you can possibly think of, including one entitled Most Influential Songs of the 20th Century, and it's right up there. Here's 1971, John Lennon, Imagine. All right, we've got a really nice converted version from piano to guitar of Imagine today. And I'm going to start by giving you the chords you need for this song. The first chord you need is an open C chord. Now you're going to lift your pointer finger off the C note on the second string and get a C major 7 chord. Then you need an F major. Now the way I play F major, and there are different ways to play this chord, but I bar at the first fret, strings 1, 2, and 3, and then basically play an E chord moved up 1 fret. So there's your E chord, moved to there, and then the bar is there. It's the closest thing to an F bar chord without that low F note. And if you wanted that, you could even get your thumb to do that. But I don't think you need it for this song. So there's the F major. You need an A minor chord, a D minor chord, an open G chord, and a G7 chord. So that's just changing the E string note from the G note here, using my first finger to turn that into a G7. And then finally I need an E7 chord. Well, actually I need an open E and then an E7 right after it. So I will need the open E chord. Now this time I'm going to play the open E. Oftentimes I'll play it this way with fingers 2, 3, and 4. But for this chord, because we're converting it to an E7, we need to use fingers 1, 2, and 3 to play the E chord. And then our pinky finger covers the D note on the B string. So we open E, E7. So real quickly through those again. Open C, C major 7, F major, A minor, D minor, open G chord, and a G7, and then an open E chord, and an E7. And those are the chords you need for Imagine. All right, well, on the song rating system for difficulty, I'm going to rate this song 2 stars, which means relatively easy. The only reason I bump it up from 1 to 2 stars is, A, the number of chords that we just went through. And then there are a couple little bits where there are hammer-ons, some sort of quick... Here's one of them. And there's a hammer on there, and a few little tricks that take it from a 1 to a 2. But generally speaking, a pretty easy song. And the strumming pattern is going to be really simple on this one. I mean, we're just down, 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 down. And one thing I am doing with that straight down strumming is I'm picking the lead note. So I open with a chord, and then in between chords and strums, I'm picking the C note. And And that can stay on that C note when I switch to the F chord as well. So it's strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick. Okay, now the important thing to note is, where does that C major 7 come in? And then we have this little... And really I don't have to pick all the notes. I can hammer up from this note, the A note on the G string, to the A sharp. So second, third finger. And then an open B hammered on to a C. So A to A sharp, but the only notes I'm really picking are the A and the open B. So I pick there, hammer up, pick the open B and hammer up to that note. So I play through that twice, and that's the intro. It continues that progression into the verse. So let's do a playthrough of twice through with the intro, and then we'll play through it until we change chords.
Imagine there's no heaven. It's easy if you try. No hell below us, above us only sky.
Okay, next up we have that little bridge piece that connects the two verses. And the strumming pattern is going to stay nice and simple like that, with our emphasis on picking that fifth string here in between chords. The chord pattern does change though. So now we have 4 chords, 2 strums each. We have an F, A minor, D minor, back to F. And that goes along with...
Imagine all the people.
Okay, then we switch to an open G chord. So it's 1, 2, 3, a quick C chord, and then the G7. So putting the 2 bits together. Into verse 2. So let's just do a playthrough for this little bridge section. 1, 2.
Imagine all the people living for today. Imagine there's no countries.
All right, next up is what we'll call the true bridge section of the song. This is the "You May Say I'm a Dreamer" bit. And the strumming changes a little bit here. Instead of strum, pick, strum, pick, strum, pick, we get double strumming.
You may say I'm a dreamer.
Like this. We've got a couple little tricks there with hammer-ons that I'll show you in just a sec. But that's the feel of it. And the chord progression is F, F, G, G, C, and then we're going to go, so we're just going to go from C to a quick C major 7, back to C, and then E, E7. And that's all single strums there, so it's double, double, and once you manage this little bit, it just repeats this 3 times, so it's ends on the C there, and then there's a little piano run thing that John does. Now you can either just wait, 2, 3, 4, imagine there's no, and go into the next verse, or you can try to do that little piano thing, and I'll just show you what I think it is, or what the transposition would be to guitar. So we strum the C chord at the finish. So we're playing open. I've still got the C chord form, so I'm playing open E and a C note, and then an F and a C note, and then an F sharp and a C note. So I'm just climbing up from E and using my thumb here. I can't use anything else, so I need to use my thumb. Those 3 notes with a C note in between. And then back into the next verse. Okay, so let's go through this slowly. We'll do a playthrough of this bridge section. 1, 2, 3.
You may say I'm a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. I hope someday you'll join us, and the world will be as one. Imagine no possessions.
All right, we're almost done. We just have to talk about the ending of the song, and it basically repeats that bridge section we just played, but instead of just finishing on a C chord and then having that little, instead of that, it just finishes on the C chord, and it retards just a little bit at the ending, so when we finish, we're going to kind of slow down the last 3 chords. But just taking this from the 3rd line of that bridge, it'd be something like this.
I hope someday you will join us, and the world will live as one.
Just like that. Okay, time for a playthrough, and I think the playthrough that makes the most sense today would be to go back from the verse after that first bridge, which is Imagine No Possessions verse. We'll play the verse, that little mini bridge part, and then we'll go into that full bridge and finish the song.
Imagine no possessions. I wonder if you can. No need for greed or hunger. A brotherhood of man. Imagine all the people sharing all the world. You may say I'm a dreamer,
fine-tuning for Imagine? Well, a nice straightforward song here. The strumming, the simple strumming in this song really simplifies it for a lot of folks out there. There are a couple little hammer-on things, that one, and then... But all in all, generally a pretty easy song, and an absolutely beautiful sentiment from Mr. John Lennon. Imagine. John Lennon. We'll see you next time on Song Mentor.